goal kicker, Taylor Walker, with a welcome off. Here's Roselli. Roselli kicks the goal.
Handball to the excitement machine, McLeod. Left foot goal.
Oh, don't tell me.
He's a superstar.
Don't tell me. Oh! He's yet to kick an AFL goal. Oh, the velvet curtain.
Walker, oh, he's a colossus. He's kicked 5. He's been a handful. He's been the difference.
To cover himself in glory.
He's coming back.
And got there.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Proper Crows podcast. Thank you very much for listening, whether you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts or YouTube at the moment. Thank you very much for your support. Today we'll be running through the round 17 win against the Demons from yesterday, a bit of general news and the SANFL demolition of the Eagles, as well as much, much more. As always, it is not just me here today. I am joined by Dom. Dom, how are you, mate?
Very good, mate. Very happy to be back after a week off and a busy couple of weeks for myself. So it was nice to sit back this morning and finally get to watch the replay and, keen to get stuck in.
Absolutely, mate. Exams out the way. Must be a weight off the shoulders.
Oh, mate, you have no idea. It's been a very stressful 3 or so weeks. I probably stretched myself out a bit being on not last week before. I probably shouldn't have done that. But, needed the week off last week, unfortunately, because it was all came to a head, 2 exams last week. But, yeah, all done now. So you're stuck with me for the next 6 weeks again, so...
No, beautiful. We're glad to have you back, mate. And, of course, Dyl, how are you?
Good, mate. Good. Keen to get into it after a good win yesterday. I'm pretty tired, so I might be slurring my words after a long night watching Silverstone last night and watching Piastri get robbed, but that's fine. I'm keen to talk about some Crows football.
Absolutely, mate. Well, we'll start with the score. What happened yesterday in the end?
So the Crows got up by 13, kicked 13-12-90 to Melbourne's 11-11-77. Ranks kicked 5 goals, Tex, Keys and Darcy kicked 2, and then we had Zachy Taylor and DC with singles. So, good to see Ranks hit the scoreboard with 5. I think it's his second haul of 5 of his career. So,
indeed,
it's good to see him up and about, and a few others hit the scoreboard.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was some interesting team selection. We had some late news, Dom, yesterday before the game. Originally was going to be Murph out, Taylor in, and then Miller dropped out with some personal reasons, so Murph came back in again and cue the meltdown on Twitter as per usual. But what were your thoughts on that one a bit late in the piece?
Oh, well, I thought there were a few people pulling my leg because I was actually at work when that all went down and got the notifications because, as I think everyone knows, I'm a big Murph hater, and I had the group chat going off. 2 of my friends messaged me and I was like, oh yeah, okay. And then checked and was like, all right, you know what, I'll back him in. He might actually do something. He might see this as an opportunity of because I feel like it's a bit of a line in the sand moment. He was dropped, got his opportunity, and then on the back of a very, very unfortunate injury, got a bigger opportunity than he probably thought he was going to get, and he did absolutely nothing with it. So,
yeah, we'll dive further into his game specifically later on, but I think there's going to be a bit of a discussion had, a bit of a dialogue started, if you will. Yeah. Dyl, we had a very shaky start to the game, really. Halfway through the second quarter, we're down by 5 goals and we're looking in a bit of trouble. What were your thoughts at that stage of the game? You were crashing out about passes, the footy, all sorts of things are happening on the hill.
Yeah, I was in a very hungover state at the footy yesterday, so every little thing was absolutely doing my head in. But, look, that start was pretty awful. That first, quarter and a half was pretty tough viewing, but you kind of break it down, and it probably wasn't as bad as what we thought it was. It was just coming down to pretty basic skill errors. Like at the end of the first quarter, we both had 14 inside 50s each. And we just allowed their intercepts. Fucking Dom Turner had 5 marks in the first quarter. May had 5 marks in the first quarter. Lever had 2 marks in the first quarter. That's just between 3 of them. That they were just sort of intercepting a hell of a lot because we just weren't lowering the eyes. Like we went at 7% goal per entry, in the first quarter, which is ridiculous. We normally sit at about 27%. So to see a massive drop off like that, of course we're going to be, getting beaten pretty convincingly, and we're a little bit lucky not to be down by more. They were pretty wasteful as well. I think they had 1-6, at one point. So it was a little bit disappointing for that first quarter and a bit, but we bounced back really well, which is what we like to see. But yeah, we can't be doing that next week against the Doggies.
Yeah, 100%. The response was good, and to turn it around halfway through a quarter was nice. I mean, in previous years we probably lose that game by 6 or 7 goals, and honourable loss FC is through the comment sections everywhere, but turned it around pretty quickly and got back on top, fortunately. But we just had no structure going forward. We were just kicking it in. And I don't know how many marks Stephen May and Jake Lever and Disco Turner had in their back line, but Jesus, it was just every time we were going forward, there was just straight
They were
event
on
every
track
single
to
time.
break the record at half time, because quarter time, sorry, because I think they had 10 intercepts in the first half alone, like intercept mark, which is ridiculous, especially considering, a very interesting point got raised that when we've got 3 key forwards, you can't be going at 10 intercepts inside 50 in a half. Like, that's very rough, and Dyl was right, and you're right as well. Like, we can't afford to do that against the Dogs, because I think Melbourne's defense is probably a bit better than the Dogs, but they'll punish us 10 times worse than Melbourne did, I think.
Well, Turner had 5 intercepts in the first quarter.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
The disconnect, we're making a spud like him look like fucking prime Matty Scarlett. It was just disgusting.
The disconnect between the midfield and the forwards was like early last year, when that was a big issue for us, when we were winning a fair bit of the ball, but we just couldn't get that link up, and that's where the whole, we're missing Tom Lynch, etc. came about last year. But it just kind of reminded me of that, because obviously I was at work yesterday, so I only watched the replay this morning. I knew the score, but I didn't know a heap about the game. I tried to stay off socials and stuff till I'd watched it, and that was the biggest thing I noticed. It was just when we were going inside 50, it was like there was no lowering of the eyes. It was just see a key forward kick, hope for the best, and you can't really do that when you got Stephen May and Lever, and then apparently Disco Turner's in career best form in the first quarter. So, yeah, it's a worry, but I guess also the fact that we fixed it, turned it around, especially given how that start of that second quarter was real bad. That's some of the worst footy I've seen us play for, it only lasted 10 minutes, which I guess is a good thing, but, against a better side, that's strife, big strife.
Yeah,
they hit 5 goals in 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was a big flurry, and it was almost like obviously we got a hold on it eventually, but there was that period. It was like everything they were doing was just turn into gold. We couldn't touch them. They had 40 disposals to 5 or something at the start of that second quarter. Like, it was ridiculous. I've never seen anything like it. We just crumbled for 10 minutes, and then it's like we woke up and we were like, oh yeah, hang on a minute, we are kind of good at football, and then clawed it back. It was both concerning and nice to see. It was a very interesting quarter of footy, I think.
Yeah. I think the interesting point for me is, I think Dyl mentioned when we were talking pre that Melbourne kicked their last goal 11 minutes into the second quarter.
Yeah.
So at that stage, I think they were up 31.
Yeah. So the exact stat here is their last goal was kicked at the 11-minute 50 stage of the second quarter. So they kicked 32 points in a row up to that stage, and just absolutely they drilled us off the park. And that was at that stage when I walked off the hill. I went to go sit in my seats because I couldn't do it anymore, because I was ready for a fucking 10-goal loss and hopefully go season derails and I cracked the shits. So yeah.
Yeah. And then interestingly, reading Nixie's 5 key takeaways from it, the article on the Crows site, there's a quote here that says, "When we got to the halftime break to watch our coaches go to work in that break and provide clarity for our group on what was needed to fix was really pleasing," which I find interesting, because by half time we were actually only, a point or two down, I think, at half time.
Yeah. So after that goal by Cozzy at the 11:50 mark, we went on to have 16 of the last 17 inside 50s of that quarter.
Yeah.
So I thought that it was a pretty good effort from the fellas out there to sort of regroup themselves without needing the blow up. And I thought some of the more, what's the word, experienced heads sort of stepped up. Like Dawson started to get involved there, and Rankin started to get a little bit more of the football. Keys stepped up. So I thought it was good by the group to step up like that. I'm not sure where you sort of sat with that, but
Yeah, no, I was very impressed. I think it was a few leaders stepped up. I mean, after that Cozzy goal, Rankin kicked a couple in a row. Tex had a couple of big moments, took a few marks, kicked a goal. We were probably a little bit wasteful. I think we kicked 3 or 4 behinds after that as well. But, the big boys in the middle got it going after had their pants pulled down a little bit for the first 10 and a bit minutes of the quarter. And, just got the game back on our side and ran with it from there.
I think that Saligo clearance that me and you, Benny, sort of went a little bit feral about is when we sort of started to step up a little bit.
Oh, the one out the middle to Tex.
Out in the middle, yeah, and then you hit Tex on the tip.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, that was great. That was, some of the best footy that we've probably seen this season. From, our clearance work's probably been a little bit down. And to sort of see that is exactly how we want to be playing our football. So I reckon that was a real big takeaway from me, is sort of that moment when the tide sort of just turned a little bit.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And I think another bloke who was doing it all, James Peatling, what a pickup he has been for us this year so far. But he was the one, even when it was going a bit tough, he was just sort of in and under, still winning the ball. Ended up with 25 touches, took 5 marks, 6 clearances, a couple of goal assists for him as well. He was so good yesterday and so clean below his knees when picking up the ball. He just knows which way to spin to get out of trouble. I don't know your thoughts on him, Dom, but he really impressed me yesterday.
Oh, yeah. And, I'll be the first to admit I was more excited about coming across than I was Peatling. But, he's definitely made me realise I know nothing about footy, because he's been incredible and he's so clean with the ball that I can't remember what quarter it was, but when he took on 4 of them, and it was like he was moving in slow motion. It was beautiful. And he's just such a nice addition to the midfield, because he's got burst, he's fast, he's good in and under. And I think he complements Saligo really well as well, because they play similar kind of game styles, and I think Soli's kind of learning off him a bit, because Soli obviously has gotten a lot better this year as well. It's just really good having such a experience. Well, not even such experience, because he's not really in the context of a whole career, but he's fit in seamlessly, and you couldn't have really asked for more from him on the weekend. He was brilliant.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, him and like you said, we'll touch on Saligo as well in a minute. It was probably his best game for a while, but for a bloke, I didn't even know James Peatling. He's played maybe 50 games.
Yeah, that's what I had to,
because
I said experienced, and I was like, he's not, even though he is in terms
he
of
was coming in and out of the team for GWS for a little bit. He really hit the ground. It was about 2 years ago, I think, where he really started to show what he can do. Because I remember he dropped a couple 160s, 170s in fantasy in his first 20 games. And we're like, who is this kid? And then he sort of died. And then he died off a little bit, and then he went feral again last season.
He's played 59 games.
Yeah, watching him, you think he was a 200 gamer yesterday. He was just so clean. I think that's the best thing about it.
He's so quick. He's so clean, and he's so strong in his hips as well. He gets hit and able to just sort of shrug a tackle, and the way that he's able to just sort of move laterally so quick is just
it's beautiful.
He's a weapon. He's very, very good, and he's such a good pickups. Thanks, Reed. Thanks, Ogilvy.
Yeah, thanks, Reed. 100%. Thanks, Ogilvy. Thanks, Nix. If he can get his bloody suspensions under control, it'd be nice.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he's honestly, even though it's his first season, it feels like he's integral to the way our midfield functions. And I think we've noticed it a fair bit. Those 2 games that he's missed through suspension, it's pretty obvious that he's not there. And I mean, obviously, some of the suspensions they're just dumb tackles. He's not a fiery player. He's just, sling tackles are sling tackles. If he can get that out of his game, that'd be great. But I'm not going to complain. It's a very...
It reminds me of that sort of stage that Tex went through when he was, sort of at the same period of that 50 to 100 game. I don't know if you guys remember it in 2012.
Yeah.
he just kept dropping people on their heads.
Yeah,
That
Like, can we
Richmond one.
fucking stop?
yeah, literally.
Yeah.
And that's probably the thing. He's probably excited. He's in a new club, new midfield, new role, and he's just, cracking in as hard as he can, and then forgets. Hang on, I probably shouldn't try and kill these blokes at the same time.
Yeah, no, he's just needs to calm it down a little bit with some of that sort of stuff. But at the same time, you love and see what he's doing. So, occasionally that might happen every so often. But happy to put up with that if he puts out performances like yesterday. Another bloke who we'll run through now, we've got Ben Keys. We'll go a bit deeper in a second. The question was posed in our group chat not long ago. Could he be All-Australian this year? He's had 24, kicked 2, a couple of marks, a couple of clearances. He's doing everything this year, so there's no reason why he shouldn't be in the conversation at the very least.
He makes this. I reckon he will make the squad. AA at the moment it's bloody tough because you've got Jamie Elliott who's definitely going to take up one of those sort of small forward spots.
Yeah.
He'll make the squad of 40, I think. But no, if he keeps playing the way he is, there's no reason why he can't make that 22 and get himself a jacket.
Yeah. No, 100%. And we have to talk about that goal that he kicked. I have no idea how those 3 defenders didn't touch that ball, but
I'm still under the assumption it was touched because so my seats are right next to the goals, right on the line.
Yeah.
And I am nearly positive that ball was touched by McPhee.
It looked rough. I can't lie.
It was a strange one.
It was a very strange one. I thought he touched it, but I don't know. We'll take it. We'll take it.
About to say, I'm not going to complain about a score review going our way for once, but it was contentious to say the least. I think I don't know. I guess it's also one of those ones where it wasn't like obvious. I guess. So I don't know.
Well, the soft call was a behind, and I don't think that there was conclusive evidence to sort of overrule that.
I agree.
I think the umpiring yesterday was a little bit grim. Like
say that again.
Like the call that we had where it was sort of it was called deliberate, which I could see 100% probably the right call in the end. But then when Jack Viney went and did it 2 quarters later down the other end, I'm like, hang on,
correct.
it's just consistency. Like there was some tough calls all day, but fuck.
I think that's the thing that everyone's always been crying for with umpires, though. There's just no consistency. It's like if they were going to call some of the deliberate calls they do call, it's like, okay, but you need to do it every single time. And it's like it's the same with calling sling tackles, like high tackles, all that shit. There's just so much inconsistency that you never know. Like, especially in ruck contests as well. Like, half the time, a ruck contest gets called and no one knows whose free kick it is because it's just like... It's like a potluck. It's like no one fucking knows what's even happening. It just happens. Someone gets a free and everyone just goes, oh, okay.
Yeah. Nah, exactly right. It's a bit tough. There were a lot of decisions yesterday, and that was just one of them. There was one with Stephen May, I think, as well, that could have probably been a rush behind deliberate as well, and a few holding the balls, and there was a lot going on yesterday, which was a bit confusing. But the Keysy one, we're on the good end of it for once, but can't complain too much about it. Another player who we're talking about, potential All-Australian, Josh Worrell is probably on the fringe, and we did have a chat about this a couple of weeks ago. He's probably, they look for that consistency of a couple of years. Dyl, what do you reckon? Is he any chance?
Who was that? Sorry, I've just seen someone send in a fucking All-Australian squad, and it is so dumb. But I'm fucking hell, man. What was the question? Sorry.
Joshy Worrell, is he included in that squad?
I think it's.
The Wolfman hasn't put him in there, has he?
Yeah, no. You know the match I'm talking about. But no, Joshy Worrell, squad of 40. He's close. He's very, very close. Numbnuts hasn't got him in there, but that's not to the surprise of anyone. But look, he's very, very close. If he keeps playing well, then I think he might get in the squad with Keezer. He's really come along and sort of shows that he's... I said he's got to be our most improved. So, breakout. What was it? Breakout player. One of the two. But he's proved me right. That kid is an absolute weapon.
Yeah, 100%. Dom, what are your thoughts on Joshy Worrell?
Oh, it's definitely, he's on track to be, if not this year, next year. Like he'll. I think it's a conversation of when, not if now. With him, I still don't know if it'll be this year. I think that's a very competitive kind of position to take in that All Australian squad. But for like 40 men, definitely 100%. He should be in the conversation. I don't know if he'll get it, but yeah, I definitely think it's when, not if, when it comes to him making All Australian, and I think it'll be multiple as well. If he continues on the trajectory he's on, he's going to be one of the best like intercept markers we've ever seen. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. Just a high quality player, and as well as that, you get your 500 meters gained on the weekend as well, and does a very good job back there, which is always good.
I will flag quickly as well. It's my favourite thing to do. Go on the Fox Sports lab and look at all the stats. I will give Riley O'Brien his flowers in a second, but it's just a trend of every single week. One of the stats is most effective kicks, and Woz is always in there. Or he's always in the top 3, and it's just incredible as well. Like you just said,
Yeah.
he always has 400 or 500 meters gained, and they're always effective. It's not like he's just given some of them are probably dump kicks up the line, but it's just nice having him there because I trust him when he's got the ball, kind of thing as well. Like it's good having a player of his size, his athleticism, his marketability that you can trust with the ball as well.
Yeah, 100%, absolutely. And even then, he still does a lockdown. He can do a lockdown job as a defender as well as being that offensive weapon going forward too. So it's just nice to have him back there because he's just a bit of a Mr. Fix-It everywhere you need, whether you want him offensive, defensive, he can do it all.
Yeah.
Another man who I think maybe Nixie sees as a Mr. Fix-It, we're going to continue this dialogue about Lockie Murphy. And before we start this, we're going to preface by saying we're not here to hang shit on players just for the fun of it, like some people on socials have been doing. It just is, as soon as he was announced as being in the squad, it was it was a bit of mayhem on Twitter. But we're not here to do that. We're here to analyse his game and not attack him personally.
I think the people that listen to this weekly will know that we're not about that because I went fucking mental over it last week and still had people sook and telling me to grow up. So
Yeah.
it's fine. Yeah.
No, 100%. So he came on halfway through the second quarter. Only ended the game with 2 touches, had 1 tackle as a pressure forward, had about 4 near misses for killing other players by running through packs and doing somersaults over the top.
When he almost killed Cumming, I was ready to.
Yeah,
He just tries too hard. Is that not is that a fair assessment?
I think
Like,
yesterday,
I just feel like in those situations he just tries too hard. Like and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like he plays for the Guernsey every time he goes out there.
yeah,
He busts his ass, but he's just got no composure to him.
yeah,
He's got no composure.
I think that's the biggest issue now as well, because when we were in the rebuild phase, that was such a good trait to have. Like, effort merchants are what you want in a rebuild. You want people that are going to, play for the colours no matter how bad it's going. And I think that's why everyone loved him so much back in the day. But now that we're actually good again and we've got a very well-functioning forward line, he sticks out like a sore thumb, man.
Yeah.
I think the key one for me yesterday was when I can't remember who passed him the ball on the half forward flank, and he stood there for about 10 seconds with, I think it was Fogg maybe standing in the pocket all by himself, and then waited 10 seconds. The defenders came back and Murph pretty much kicked it straight out of bounds on the full. Yeah. It's moments like that that really are the reason why I just don't think he should be in the squad. And as well as this, having a look at his stats right now, he's somehow had 2 disposals and 3 turnovers. So I don't know how he's managed to do that. Whether he got caught holding the ball or something, but that's pretty impressive.
Shit. Oh no. Oh, Lockie. Shit.
Yeah, and I mean, like you say, like he's the type of bloke who you love to have around during the rebuild, and bleeds for the club. I've absolutely no doubt about that. But
he's
Ned
McHenry 2.0, except Ned was a better footballer. They're like you want them around the club because they love it and they are good for morale, and like the players all clearly love him. Whether or not they trust him on field, I think he's starting to. That's a whole different thing, but it gets to the point like with Ned, you can't just keep players in because they're good for morale. They clog up a list spot. If he really wants to stick around, he can stay on the list as a Sandful player. He doesn't need to be AFL listed, and then he's, But I think it's kind of, like I said, I think it's a line in the sand moment where he got given this opportunity when he probably didn't deserve it, especially with how much game time he ended up getting.
Yeah.
And, he just did nothing with it. He did absolutely nothing. If it only takes you so far, there needs to be some talent there, and I just don't think he's got it. He's not at the level.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree. So he had 30% time on ground in the end. So really for, a half and a bit, that's
a lot of
actually
time on the pine. Yeah, jeez.
Yeah. His heat map is ironically right next to the bench as well. So he did most of his work over there as well. But I don't know what it was. It seemed like every time there was a high ball, he was just like trying to fly over the back. And I don't know whether that was a conscious effort of him trying to put in extra to show, hey, I'm around, I'm trying to do stuff, or what that was. But I tell you what, there were a few moments there where I was like, he's either going to land on his head or he's going to take someone out. He took Jake Lever out. I give him props for that. That was a big hit from
nice
on Lever, but he no regard for human life in a lot of contests there yesterday afternoon.
I just want to I don't know if this is right, and someone might have to confirm. Has he not kicked a goal this year? I don't think he's kicked a goal this year.
Lachlan Murphy has not kicked a goal this year because I've lost a shit ton of Australian currency on him.
That is insane, man.
Well, I just back him in. I got to
No,
back
no,
my boy.
No.
The shrimp is talking. The shrimp is talking.
Oh, jeez.
There's a bit of value sitting around. When he's sitting at $3, I wouldn't mind putting half of the fortnightly salary on him because then I've got more free money.
If you let me finish my sentence, I was going to say him not kicking a goal's insane, not your gambling habits, mate. I already know that.
I was going to say, when you finish your sentence, when you finish your sentence, not many good things come from that. So I thought I'd cut you off there.
Yeah, mad funny, bro. Mad funny.
Coward
Yeah,
dog,
how's Luke Pedler going, bro?
Yeah, I was about to say Pedler. He would have played if he wasn't injured, you dog.
Yeah, sure he would have, bro. Sure he would have.
Wah, that's what I hear.
He played in the Sandful, but he's injured, bro. That's the only reason he didn't play. Wah.
Yeah, whatever, moron.
Cope, dude.
Yeah. Well, official stats on Murph, he has kicked 0 goals, 5 in his games this year, and granted, a few of those were the sub, but he has to break the drought if he stays in. Surely,
I'm looking at his career stats, and they are so much worse than I thought. The most goals he's kicked in a season is 19.
Was that 2020 as well, probably?
2019. He kicked 7 in 2020.
Yeah.
So it's
won the leading goal.
So this is from 2018 to 2025. It's 12, 9, 7, 9, 9, 12, 7, 0.
As a small forward, by the way.
That is.
Right, I'm gonna put my ass on the line here. I'm gonna back in the coaching stuff. All right. If Lockie Murphy plays another 4 games this season, I will get number 4 tattooed on me with LM under the number 4. That's how confident I am. He will not play any more than 4 games. So we're going to take the line at 3.5.
Is there an asterisk on this? Because I would like to make it absolutely no conditions. This is unconditional. This is
unconditional. This is unconditional. Even as the sub, I'm going to take. He plays under 3.5 games. All right. So I want this recorded and I want this posted on all socials. If Lachlan Murphy plays over 3.5 games the rest of the season, Shrimp will get LM number 4 tattooed on him. Thank you.
Oh, good. I've just pinned that in the group chat right now, so we'll be on that, and then we'll probably get some videos up because that'll be an interesting one. Don't you already have a bet for a tattoo sometime this year about Lockie Murphy?
No, that was about one of the games. about something. I can't remember what it was, but that was at the game. That wasn't on. That wasn't timestamped. That was.
Was that me and you?
No, I've just found it. If Murphy wins the McGarry, Shrimp gets Voldemort tattooed on him from the
Oh, there we
side.
go. I can tell you for a fact that he's not in the. No, anyway, not gonna get into that. But no, look, we're fine. Lucky Murphy, I don't think plays any more than 2 games for the footy club again.
He can't
Yeah.
now. If we're even slightly serious, he can't come on as a sub and
Yeah.
do and produce that. Like it's knee how, dude.
And I think watching the sample yesterday, I mean, I only saw probably the last quarter or so when I got there, but Braden Cook was probably
He
knocking
was
down the door to
incredible
come back
yesterday.
in.
Yeah, even Nan
He's-
kicked 3 as well. He was good as well.
Cook kicked 7 goals in the last 2 weeks. I
Yeah.
think I wouldn't mind seeing him play again because he gone missing for the last 2 years, and I picked him up for a late draft pick in one of my keeper leagues. He's just sort of sitting there doing nothing, so it wouldn't be too bad. I think it was a 4th round pick, which is going to eventuate to nothing. But for my sake, I really hope he plays.
No, 100%. And I mean, realistically for us, we don't have anything to lose by playing him. We know what we get when Murphy comes in, and respectfully, not a lot.
It's not going to be worse. Put it that way.
Oh, here's
Yeah.
one for you, Dom. Here's one for you.
Yeah.
Cook or Peddler? Nope.
Yeah, you have to reward form. So Cook,
Peddler or Murphy?
Peddler.
Stand on business, coward. No, you fucking no. Nope.
I was very open about that. I was so open about the fact Peddler was better than Murph. You're a fuckwit.
Yeah, wah.
I'm not going to be able. If Peddler comes back in, like I said last time, I'll back in the coaching staff. But I swear to God, if he has a stinker and Cook is playing Sample, I think it's very, very unlucky day to be Braden Cook.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the stuff on Twitter, especially around the Sandful squad, is always that they don't reward form. So I feel like you have to play Cook because there's no way Murphy holds his spot. He can't. Not when Rash goes. If Rash was still in the squad, I'd be a little bit more worried. But losing Rash, you can't just have Murphy plodding around. And I think Cook has more than earned a crack at the big time again because he was good when he had that, like, I reckon it was the end of 2023 actually. He played probably like 6 games in a row, I think, and he almost kicked multiple goals in every game.
Yeah, I reckon it was early last year because he started against MCG and kicked 3 or 4, I think.
Yeah, that's the one. So, I think he's definitely got it. He's just young, and I will say Luke Peddler did play a very good game, but again, he was playing more mid than forward, and I don't think he'll come in as a small forward.
Yeah. No, it's interesting to see what happens this week. Like you said, with Rash going out, it might make it a bit harder, and maybe Shrimp's line of 3.5 might be a little bit shaky, but we'll have to
Back me in.
wait and see.
Back me in, pussy.
I'm backing you in. However, if there is even a single injury to another one of our small forwards, you're in some strife. Because it'll be a revolving door. Like if Cook comes in and goes down, God forbid, it'll be a revolving door between Peddler and Murph. Where's
Tyreek Newchurch when you need him?
Jesus.
Yeah, look, that was an experiment that didn't exactly eventuate in the end, but great SNFL player, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
We'll
Is
move
that
on to the
Newton
next.
even playing AFL anymore? Playing Sample anymore?
Nah,
He's not.
think
He's
so.
playing in the Hills Footy League, I think. He played hang on.
Interesting. Anyway, let's keep moving.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll move on to your man, Dom. Riley O'Brien, contract year Rob, doing it all. He was very, very good yesterday. I think he had, 7 marks. He had 10 disposals in total, 36 hitouts. Probably drew even with Max, which isn't something that a lot of players can say that they've done. 87% time on ground, so he stayed on for most of the game. Had a clearance, had 4 metres gained, big stat there, and a goal assist as well.
Just quickly, Tyreek Newchurch 6 goals in the weekend for Central Augusta out in the Spencer Golf Footy League. Best on.
Jesus.
There you go.
Anyway,
And
back to
people
Rob.
wanted him playing AFL, huh?
I wonder if he's getting a tackle yet.
Yeah. They no contested possessions whatsoever.
No, so Dom, what were your thoughts on Rob's game on the weekend? He is someone who is playing very well, and I have been a noted Rob hater, as have you. What are your thoughts?
I'm still not willing to completely stand down, but he was very good, especially against Max Gawn. I think in terms of the actual ruck craft, he wiped the floor with him. I'm not going to lie. Like, hang on, no, hold. So it's time for my favorite.
Say
time.
sorry right now. Say sorry right now.
My stats of
Say
the
sorry
week.
right now. Say sorry right now.
No,
Whatever.
I just said he wiped the floor with Max Gawn. What more do you want from me?
An apology.
Nah, because he is arse most of the time, and I'll stand on
And it's
business.
contract year. It's contract year. You can't.
Yeah,
you
if he
can't
signs a
let him
new
do it.
contract, see how he goes next year against Gawn, then we'll talk.
Yeah,
However,
whatever.
he did have 36 hit-outs to 25, and he had 10 to advantage, which is something I always pick on him for, because he's a hit-out merchant and never does anything with it. But he did have 10 to advantage, so I'll always give him that. I think he got... It was a weird game for him. I think it more read into how we lined up in that second quarter, but at the start of the second quarter, he was real rough, and I think him... I think it was probably a little bit of Gawn being off as well, but I think when Thilf went into the middle, it did help a little bit, like arrest some of the momentum, but I think that was more of where we were at as an entire team at that point, not just Rob.
Yeah, I think the peak one for me was when it was on our half forward flank and Rob won the tap, or not even the tap. He took the ball out of the ruck and he handballed it straight to Gawn.
Yeah.
And at this stage, I think we were 4 goals down, and I was just about ready to leave. I was like, I
Yeah.
can't be seeing this.
And that's what I always go back to, not apologising, because he still just does dumb shit like that, and most of the time that's more often than the good things.
Yeah.
But no, he played a very good game, so I'm happy to say that he was good. But again, contract year. He's playing for it all right now. He got offered a low ball, wants more money, and I think he's trying to prove that he's worth it. So whether or not he maintains is going to be an interesting watch, especially if he does manage to re-sign. Which I think is another conversation in itself. Like, I still don't even know if we'll re-sign him, to be honest. I don't think we're going to up our offer.
It seems that way, doesn't it? It seems like we're playing hardball with him.
Which I feel like if we're doing that, it means we have to have some kind of backup, because if we lose him, I don't think they want Thilf playing full-time ruck.
No.
It makes me think there has to be something else, whether it's something no one has spoken about and it's going to come from nowhere, or there is truth to the whole Rowan Marshall thing. If
That
the
died off
timing-
real quickly, that Ryan Marshall talk.
It did, but I feel like De Koning's, again, this is proper Crows, not proper footy, but I think De Koning's going to leave and go to St Kilda, and I think that opens the door for Rowan Marshall to leave.
Yeah.
And I'd definitely take him. Like,
Watch Geelong take him. I would put a nice amount of Australian currency that he's going to Geelong.
If Roma leaves, I'm putting a big amount of money on it as well. But I think we'll have a very good crack at it. And I genuinely, most of that confidence comes from the fact that we haven't re-signed Rob yet, and it's now round 17.
Yeah.
And when we did offer him a new deal, apparently it was a low ball. Or not.
Shrimp reported that about 6 weeks ago that MF was leaving, so...
Thanks,
Yeah, but it
Shrimp.
also
Thanks,
might-
Ogilvy.
It wouldn't shock me if he just has to sign it, because Carlton don't actually want him, because they look at him play it and go, oh, never mind.
I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to Brisbane either.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
did
that was
read
the other
that
one.
last week. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
be interesting. But, if he keeps playing like this, contract year every year, just do the Justin Longmuir, sign him up for one.
Yeah,
Give him another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
straight up, dude.
100%. So we'll move on again. Izak Rankin. There isn't much that needs to be said about Izak Rankin because he lets his footy do the talking. But 5 snags, 16 touches, 4 marks, 4 tackles. 2
Has the
clearances.
midfield experiment, is it over?
Nah, I don't think it's over.
I think
I-
he rolled through there.
I
a bit.
like him playing what he played yesterday. I don't want him playing in that full-time midfield role.
I never wanted him full time either. I think 50-50 is good, but I also think they're kind of somewhat managing his minutes in season as well, in terms of reducing how much he's running through the midfield. Like, I don't think they want him being in there as often as a lot of the supporters want him being in there.
Yeah.
Because they absolutely have to be scared of his hamstrings going again. He's had a lot of trouble with them, and I think push comes to shove, if we're playing finals and we're getting beaten out of the middle, he's the one that'll go in there because he is so good. But he has definitely been playing a lot more forward lately. But I'm not against it. He's the best small forward in the game when you're talking purely small forward, no added midfield or anything. I think he's the best
Jamie
in the
Elliott?
game. Are you taking Jamie Elliott over Ranks right now? Would you swap them?
Yes.
Ooh.
Really?
Don't know about that one.
Have you seen what Jamie Elliott's been doing? Are we talking? Wait. Are we talking just as like an inside 50 forward capacity, or as a footballer as a whole?
Just as a forward.
Jamie Elliott.
Interesting.
Gee.
I'm gonna get
Can't.
I'm gonna get rocked for that.
Yeah, do you want to redact that real quick, or are you...
No, I'm standing on business.
Oh, God.
Yeah, look, can't agree with that one, to be perfectly
I
honest
also
with you.
can't agree with that one.
Yeah. But you want Luke Pet? No, you don't want Luke Pedler in the team.
Do you want Luke Pedler in the team?
I'm not sure yet.
Oh, don't give me that. You are a coward. You are a grade A coward.
Dom, you're probably the same type of bloke that have a pasty at the football, not a pie or a sausage roll.
Mate, I actively avoided the Villies car 2 weeks ago because there was only pasties in it.
Yeah, well, you've redeemed yourself there because I'm just we're going to go off of football here for 2 seconds.
Yeah, take the floor.
Oh, God.
This really pissed me off yesterday. There was a few blokes standing in front of us. They all had pasties and they looked all happy with themselves. Who in their right mind goes to the fucking football and chooses to eat a pasty over a pie or a sausage roll?
Yeah,
Who does that? And then
I
they
can't
came
lie.
back. They went for seconds, Dominic.
Oh,
They went for
God.
seconds.
That's mutant behaviour, dude.
They
One
went
is
for
bad
seconds.
enough.
And they were. You know what their drink of choice with these pasties was?
Oh, it's going to be something.
Double
green.
raspberry cruisers.
Oh, Jesus.
No sauce in sight. It made me lose it for 5 minutes. Ben couldn't contain himself because I was in full meltdown mode. It was probably the most disgusting display I've ever seen.
Is that up there with glizzy with no condiments? Because I think it is, but 2 pasties is dirty work. At the
It was
footy.
crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts, but I just need to get that off my chest because, God, it pissed me off
I'm just
yesterday.
saying, I can't lie. Sometimes I get in the mood and I'm like, I could fucking tear up a pasty right now. But not at the footy, man. That's not happening.
Are we saying that a pie and chips is the undisputed great football snack?
Yeah,
Oh,
you gotta
man,
have the chips involved.
but those Amy Stadium hot dogs were fucking crazy, dude, as well.
All the little
so
chicken
true.
bites from AO.
Oh, chicken
They're
balls
good.
are good.
The chicken balls are good.
I think as a Australia wide, you got to do the pie chips combo with a fucking iced coffee or a Coke. Unbeaten.
But yeah, look, if those blokes that were in front of us eating the pasties, if you're listening, stay away from me.
Yeah, man.
Stay away from me.
Honourable mention to the Amy Stadium Don hot dogs, though. Those things went crazy. Just
Those
the
were
fucking
great.
skinless hot dog in the old ass steamed bun. Oh, man.
I don't know if it's just nostalgia, but those were elite.
Oh, it's absolutely nostalgia. They're the worst things ever. It was just bloody tongues and assholes in those hot dogs, mate.
I don't know.
Anyway, let's
So-
move on before we, because I'm going to go down a different route here. So I reckon we need to get to something else before I lose my mind.
Yeah, no
I've just
more.
got one more question I want to ask on the food topic here. 'Cause speaking of Amy Stadium, in the members there was a Domino's outlet, and it had the best pizzas ever. Was that in the
dude.
outer at all?
Yeah, I think between that Domino's outlet and then Adelaide United, we used to have the big churro sticks.
Oh, dude, holy
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, dude, there's some core memories being unlocked right now.
They had a bookie at Adelaide Oval as well. I don't know.
They
If you,
did.
I didn't like. I was too young for that, but I remember this is probably
Yeah.
where the gambling edition comes from. My pop used to go down and put a first goal scorer bet on me from about age 8. It was great.
Fuck, I was the same. My dad used to do the exact same.
you
And it was
remember-
attached to the Checkside Tavern, so you could walk.
Yeah,
straight through.
yeah.
Was it fucking the MCG that only had Red Rooster food as well for ages?
Yeah, they got TAB there
Yeah.
as well.
Was it the G or Marvel? One of the
One
two.
of them only had Red Rooster for ages, and I thought it was the weirdest shit ever when I went over there. But
Red
it's
Rooster. That's woke as.
Red Rooster is what. That's the type of thing Lockie Murphy goes home and eats instead of like KFC.
Ben,
or
take the
something.
floor. Ben, take the floor. Start hosting again. Take the floor.
All right, we've got one more play to go through. Dom, we'll give you the floor again. Jake Saligo, your boy, had his best game almost for the year, I'd say. It was definitely his best game for a couple of weeks. Had 21 touches, 6 marks, 6 tackles, 6 clearances, and almost 400 metres gained. What were your thoughts on his game?
Oh, he's been rough the past few weeks. I can't lie, he's been down, but I think you have to expect that. He's still young. He's been around for a while now, so I think our expectations are quite high. But yeah, it was his most consistent game, that's for sure, for the year. His work in the midfield was very, very, very good, especially when I think Sam Berry got bullied a little bit in and under, and I think Solly and Peatling as well, as we mentioned, kind of did some heavy lifting. But yeah, if he gets the consistency, he's going to be a mainstay of the midfield for a long time. And you know, even earlier in the year in pre-season and stuff, he was kicking goals as well. So if he gets that back as well, like, we're seriously on. Like, I will say it. I've definitely said it on here before. I'll say it again. He's a star. I want him to be all Australian, but
Yeah.
whether or not he gets there, that's another thing, because he has been inconsistent. But if he finds that consistency, where I'm gonna be up and about, and it's gonna be on record that I've been absolute Jake Saligo lover since day one. So it's very nice to see him, you know, show out once again what he can do.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Just some breaking news just in from John Ralph. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. The AFL has confirmed that Judd McVee's third umpire overall was an error and that both clubs have been contacted to see the mistake. The Demons were only 15 points down at the time and McVee had clearly touched the ball. The AFL ARC overruled the behind goal and called it a goal. So it was
Interesting.
touched.
Damn, that sucks, bro.
Yeah, damn, bro.
So sorry. So
Damn,
sorry, Melbourne.
bro.
If only that was our problem, bro. No, we can't fucking be like this, because we've been...
No, I think we can be like this because you're on the wrong end of it. Actually, I'm more than happy to be like that.
That's true.
Yeah.
And also,
Sorry,
it
guys,
wasn't
no
game
finals.
deciding, so actually, you know what? Yeah, fuck is. That's what you get. Dogs.
Dogs. Can you tell that we hang out with each other way too much?
Yeah. Fucking hell.
All right, let's jump into some feedback from the listeners here on Facebook. Darren says, play relatively poorly and still win. Yes, facts, plain and simple. Dawid says, another win at the Crowville. We'll need to start the game next week with a better mindset against the Dogs. Where are we? James Payne says, not very impressed. Need to be a lot better. Daniel Ferraro says, Peatling played a great game. Need to get our hands on the ball more. And when we did in the second half, we took the momentum with us. Reese says, that umpiring crew needs to be investigated. No other way to explain some of those calls, as nobody can possibly be that shit at their job. Don says, mids were outplayed by the Dees in the first half, but came back very well. Even so, Melbourne backs were good, so forwards struggled more than usual. Missed Miller, I hope all is well in his life. Winter is a hard grind, but worth it if they continue to win. And 100%.
That's a very good point that we probably didn't touch on. I think we missed Miller more than I thought we would.
Yeah, big
Yeah.
time.
coming out of the back half, we definitely lacked his ball use, which I think I've said on here a few times. I probably underrate him because I have been a bit harsh on him. But yeah, I think we missed him more than I thought we were going to yesterday. Big time.
Yeah. No, I tend to agree. His ball use coming out of the back half is invaluable for us, and hopefully he's as Don said there, hopefully all is well for him and comes back sooner rather than later.
Very well said, mate.
Indeed. Now, we've just got a couple over on Instagram. We start with Hammer, who says, brutal, but we'll take the 4 points. Millie says, happy to see us come back and win these kinds of games, unlike previous seasons. At Joshua Piantadosi, haven't come back from 4 goals down. Bland Dude says, Petrarca should have scored more in fantasy. IMO meow. That's an interesting comment there. I reckon that's one of your mates, Dyl.
Indeed.
Wait, who was it?
It was Blandy.
Oh, the big bland dude. What did he say? Sorry, I was tuned out.
He thought Petrarca should have scored a few more in fantasy and added a meow on there. Not really sure about the meow, but
Yeah, no, I'm a bit purr. Yeah.
He pretends to be a Geelong fan when it suits him. So
Petrarca. He's also over in Canada at the moment, so I hope Blandy's having the best time over there. Look, it was 4th of July, and I think he was in America. It looked great. So shout out to the bland dude.
yeah, absolutely. Oh, is he the fellow who's come for gather round? Big, tall, lanky guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a very, very good bloke. Top bloke.
Yep.
100%. All right, let's move on to our votes. I'll start with you, Dom. Who you got for the 3-1?
There's a lot of players you could throw a blanket over.
Do it. I know you want to. Do it.
No. No. I'll give him an honourable mention, but he's not getting he can't pry that vote out of my cold, dead hands, man. I swear to God. I'm going to give my one to Jake Saligo. I think he needs it. He needs a bit of the rocket. He needs to maintain this form, and I think he deserves to be rewarded because he hasn't necessarily been questioned, but he's been down the past few weeks, and it was nice to see a return to form for him.
Yep, 100%. Deal, who you got?
Riley O'Brien. In at the 1. Great game. Yeah, I think the number 2 and 3 is pretty easy to give. So I was going to go Peatling, but Rob's my boy, so I've gone Riley O'Brien.
100%. I agree wholeheartedly. I've gone the Rob for 1 as well, as painful as it is for me to do it. Dom, your 2?
Ben Keys, I think, once again, we touched on it earlier. He's in All-Australian form, and he continued it again. 24 touches, 2 goals. Could have had more. I mean, technically, that should be 1 goal 4 now. Thanks, John Ralph, but cope. He could have kicked more. There was a few. That one where he tried to roll it through. Still don't know what was going on there.
Jason Dunstall exploded, I reckon.
Yeah. But yeah, he's All-Australian form, and he's continued on his merry way, and I think he's very, very integral to our forward line. And he was great.
Absolutely. Deal, how about you?
In at the 2, I've got Ben Keys.
Yep.
So, he played well yesterday. 24 touches, a couple of goals. He's doing what he needs to do, and probably in the squad of 44 at the moment, and hopefully he can carry this on, because when he plays well, we normally win. So,
yeah, absolutely. And across the board, Benny Keys gets the 2 appropriately for the Guernsey number. Can I hazard a guess and say that we're all going to be the same for 3 votes with Mr. Izak Rankin?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Probably not much needs to be discussed there, really.
Broke the game open in that second quarter, getting us back on track. So, and that goal, that fucking candy he sold, man. Oh man, that was fucking vintage. Izak Rankin, so good, man. I love listening to David King as well, because David King fucking loves him.
He absolutely glazes him.
Man.
I love it.
I love it. I love listening to him, and I just imagine his reaction when he kicked that, because nothing better than seeing Izak Rankin do his thing inside 50, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I'm going to chuck one to you boys here. I've not got it on the run sheet, but I've just remembered that it was a post during the week. So I just want to go through our unrestricted free agents at the end of this year, and we're just going to go around the circle real quick and just say keep or delist. Chris Burgess. Dom, were you keeping or delisting the Jack Odie medalist? Is it Jack Odie medalist? I don't even know. Ken Farmer medalist even, not Jack
Ken
Odie.
Farmer, isn't it?
That's when you look at Jack Odie's third grand final.
Win
Yeah, so
that
it's
too.
going to be Jack Odie medalist anyway.
Yeah,
So
probably. This one, I think I'm probably making it harder than it should be, but I still think depends how Tyler Welsh goes, but I would sign him as long as he knows that it's not going to change how much AFL he plays.
Yeah.
I think we need
Yeah.
him there as depth for another year at least until Tyler Welsh is like a bit more experienced and gets a bit more meat on the bone.
I tend to agree. Dill, how about you? You keeping Burjo around?
No, I think he goes D-list.
It won't shock me either way, to be fair.
Yeah.
Structure-wise, I think we should keep him, but it's not going to bother me if he goes.
Probably hinges a bit on Tex at the same time as well.
Yeah, that's true.
I think Tex goes one more year. I don't want him to, in the most respectful way possible. But I
Yeah.
honestly think he goes one more year.
Yeah,
I don't think
I agree. I know what you mean. You don't want to say you don't want him to go around, but it's also like, don't go an extra year when you don't ruin your career. Don't make us hate you because you stay and then you just.
Yeah, I don't want a Jack Darling situation.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I think if he gets to 300 this year, it could be the year. But if he ends this year on say 298 or something like that,
Yeah.
If we don't win it all this year, I think he goes again and they give him one last crack at it.
That was
Yeah.
my thought, that if we go, even if he's not playing in the grand final last year, just being involved next year, if we get there, I think he'll want to be involved in the club somehow, and that's why I think if we go, even if we go close this year, I think that'll lock him in to going again.
Yeah.
No, 100%. So that probably answers Tex because he's also unrestricted free agent. Next up, we've got Matt Crouch. Probably for me gets a couple years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Riley O'Brien we discussed earlier. That'll depend on what he wants to do.
He'll go. He won't. I don't think we'll offer him any more than we have, and he'll want more. So
Yeah. B Smith.
Leaves, retires.
Yep. Tend to agree. L Murphy.
D-list.
China.
And lastly, this is going to be an interesting conversation point, I reckon. Harry Schoenberg.
D-list.
Gone.
Yep. Wasn't as interesting as I thought it was.
No, but I understand why you said that, because he had some serious minerals a few years ago.
Yeah.
That Achilles injury cooked him.
Yeah, genuinely. When he was, there was that back end of 22, I reckon.
21,
where he was
He had
averaging
like 30 touches in a showdown, dude.
Yeah, he was averaging like 25 and a goal. People were bringing him in fantasy. People was me. And he was scoring hundreds. Like, he was averaging 95 across 5 weeks or something. Like, he was on. And, yeah, he'd done his Achilles, and I just don't... Whether or not it was a I'm injured, I'm going to get back on the bags thing, or it was a genuine, like, he doesn't trust it or whatever, and he just can't get back to where he needs to be. It is sad, because I think a lot of us had pretty high hopes for him, but I don't think he's AFL caliber anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, we'll live with the thought of that spin and goal against North Melbourne at the Adelaide Oval from a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
That was elite.
Yeah.
Next up, just a bit of news. Josh Rochelle has avoided an ACL injury. Early reports are that he's looking at probably 8 weeks or so on the sidelines. And let me just get the exact wording of the injury here. Posterior capsular tear and bone compression injury. So, Dom, you're probably best placed to answer that sort of thing. What are we looking at here?
Oh, God, you want me to go through it if you're on? There's a capsule in your knee called the synovial capsule that I guess he's ruptured. Bone compression is rough. That's probably more so what he'll need surgery for. I'm assuming he'll be in a brace for a few weeks, and then it's just kind of touch and go as to how many weeks it takes recovery-wise. I think they'll probably be more conservative with him, which is a good thing. I think rushing back players is always a terrible idea. But being a knee, like, you got to be careful, because you don't want any type of weakness or anything in there, because it leaves you open to like reoccurrences or making pre-existing stuff worse. So I think honestly, based on the mechanism, it's probably best case scenario, to be honest, because it looked bad. Like obviously, there's the hope that it was just a strain and it was 2 weeks, but I think he'd done something. You could tell from the way he went down, and so I think it's definitely best case scenario. I think.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. And speaking of the way he went down, so all the heroes in all the AFL comment sections and all the ones reporting that it's only 8 weeks out, saying, oh, milking is showtime and all that sort of stuff. Shut the fuck up. The amount of people who I saw comment that sort of shit today, just ridiculous.
Yeah, genuinely. It just shows that we are back to being where we should be. We're just rent free.
Yeah.
There'd be people celebrating that he got injured. And I think that's a sign of where we're at as a footy club. People are hoping that it happens, and I don't understand it because even if I kind of, sorry, let me rephrase that. I kind of get it because if he played for another team, I'd probably hate him. But I think players like him are so important to the AFL as like Jack Ginnivan and stuff. You need these like Showtime players, and hating on them for the sake of it is just so boring. Like, get a hobby, go outside, touch grass, do something.
Yep.
Were you about to say something there, Dyl?
No.
No. All right. Well, let's move on to the SANFL. The sample squad absolutely demolished the Eagles, who have had 200-plus point losses in a row. 22-17, 149 to 7-7-49. Dom, who kicked the goals for us there yesterday?
So as we discussed earlier, Braden Cook kicked 4, and then Ned Atkinson and Luke Nankervis both kicked 3. Jay Boyle, Burgess, Billy Dowling, Strawn kicked 2. My boy Strawny, come on. And then Drury, Pedler, the aforementioned Harry Schellenberg, and Lockie Scholl all kicked 1. Chase Jones was real nice, which I hate to say because I have been a hater, but he was real good. Billy Dowling had 25 as well as kicking those 2. Yep. It was a very even performance from everyone. Like even Pedler, 24 and a goal. Grubb had 23 and a goal. Nick Murray played really well, which I think is probably, again, we'll discuss that later on, but I think he's probably primed to come back in. And then obviously Sid Watch, because everyone, I feel like that's half the reason people are watching the sample side at the moment. Didn't set the world on fire, but, played a good game, 18 touches, kicked a point, unfortunately. But, it was good through the midfield, as you expect. Probably not coming back into the AFL side. I don't think he'll come in as that replacement for Rash, but it's a watch because they might want to get some game time into him. But, yeah, real good.
Yeah,
I think there's... the SANFL this year is pretty standout as being Sturt, Daylight, Glenelg, Adelaide, Daylight times 5, and then the rest of them. So,
yeah, no, it was interesting. I rolled in, probably about halfway through the third quarter yesterday, and it was the last quarter, especially, was like a training drill. It was we'd kick a goal, back to the middle, kick a goal, back to the middle, kick a goal. It just happened the whole last quarter.
Yeah, well, I think we kicked 8 in the last quarter. I want to say to 2. It was. It was a clinic, and again, it's nice to see where we're at. The AFL side is playing so well, and then having the sample side doing this is, it's the definition of I used to pray for times like this.
Yeah,
like we've got players waiting in the SANFL that can come up and play AFL versus 5 years ago when it was we've got SANFL level players playing AFL for us. So.
Yeah.
It's very nice
to see.
Agree.
Absolutely. And I mean, we had a chat earlier about it, but who have you got coming in for Rash? Because personally, Braden Cook was playing a superb game from what I saw. I wouldn't mind seeing him come in, but then, like we said, you've got Billy Dowling who had 25 and kicked 2. You've got, Chase Jones probably isn't going to come in for that sort of role. Sid had 18, had a good game around the middle as well. Schallenberg 23 and a snag. Like it was a very even performance. And granted, West Torrens aren't a particularly great team, so read into that what you will. But who have you got coming in next week?
I think it has to be Cook. We go so, like I said earlier, everyone's so on rewarding form at the moment. I don't think you can look past him.
Yep.
Nank also played well, like he kicked 3 as a forward. So that might I don't think it's the week to do it. I don't think it's the week to trial him as a forward at AFL level. So I don't think he'll come in. I don't want Sid playing that role, and I don't think he will. Like I think there's too many players ahead of him. I think Billy Dowling is. He's rough. He's kind of like Chase, where he's not. It's not his role, so he probably won't play.
Yeah.
Which is very stiff because he's putting together a solid few games. But yeah, I think it'll be Cook. It kind of has to be.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I tend to agree.
Also,
I think
just
it
for
has to be.
everyone, just real quick, for everyone crying about Charlie Edwards not playing, we won by 100 points and he only had 12 touches. So relax. Sorry,
Yeah.
I just need to get that off my chest.
The ball wasn't down there very much, to be fair to him. But yeah, it was.
Don't start excuse farming.
Excuse farming.
No, it was just one-way traffic the whole game. Like it was
It was.
encouraging.
And all
to see
I'm
them
saying,
do that.
in response to that comment, Nick Murray had 20 disposals. Just saying.
That's a great point. Very,
Just
very
saying.
good point. Ball Ace had 19 as well.
Good players find the ball. I
Nah,
shouldn't say that
very
because
true.
I actually really like Charlie Edwards and I think he'll absolutely be playing AFL next year. But
Yeah. Just quietly as well, James Ball Ace has put back-to-back great games together. I think he had 25 last week and another 19 on the weekend. He was just... The whole defence has been playing well. Yeah, Nick Murray, 20 touches, 7 marks, even had a clearance.
the big Egyptian is one of those players where he's probably too good for Sandford, but he looks so dumb on an AFL field sometimes. He just does some dumb shit.
And of course, this week we look forward to take on the Dogs. We'll go a bit more into the side in a second. Other than the obvious Rash coming out, do you reckon we make any other changes for this week? Does anyone else come in? Does Murph go out?
Murphy
Goal bit
goes.
smaller.
Murphy goes. Braden Cook in, I reckon. I don't know. But see, two's got to go out. I think Rash and Murphy go out. And then I think possibly a Braden Cook and maybe a Sid Draper come in. Because the Bulldogs midfield is going to be so... it's going to be so hard to match up against.
Yeah.
You know, Libber, Richards, Bont, like there's so much pace through there. So maybe bringing in a Draper isn't the worst idea in the world to have a bit more dash out of the clearance. But at the same time, do you really want an 18-year-old going up against Libber and Bont? It's going to be hard.
Can I pose a comparison to Murph? Zach Taylor had 5 touches for the full game that he played. We're talking about Murph only having 2 touches. Taylor had 5 with 2 turnovers as well. Did
Taylor's
he enough to
played-
hold his spot.
He's played 20 games, not 120. I'm happy. I don't mind if he has an off week.
true.
Yeah, and he's,
He can play a
look,
role,
and he's played
obviously.
well in the sample as well, Taylor. So I don't know. I'm not even going to try and guess of who I think comes in because I've got no idea. I've genuinely got no idea.
And that's one of the other things that I mentioned before. Nick Murray is ready to come back, but you almost can't drop Barts.
No way
Yeah.
he comes back in. If they drop butts, I'll be outside
Yeah,
of
but-
West Lakes with a sign.
Yeah, but Nick Murray is our best key defender, but we can't play him.
No,
I don't. It's such an interesting. I don't know what they're gonna do.
it's not like he's leaps and bounds ahead of the other two.
I think he is.
I think the form that the other two have shown in the last 6 weeks has proved us all wrong. Like, we were having this conversation not long ago that Butt shouldn't even be around. We're comparing him to Ball Ace, and look what he's done.
Yeah. Nah.
Would
No,
you-
I
that-
agree.
that-
That's
that-
what-
that- They're quite tall. Would you play all three?
That's what I was thinking. Like, is it almost a
Because Keane can play off a little bit, you know. He doesn't have to play that lockdown role.
yeah?
because-
And that's why I was thinking. Does Muzz come in for Not for Rash, but for Murph. Because I think Taylor will probably play as the sub. I think he'll drop to the sub.
And then do you go max forward again, and he maybe plays that lockdown on like a Bailey Dale?
I don't hate that.
It's not the worst, but
I think
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if Vlosten and Dale are different players. Though. I don't know if it'll have the same effect.
Well, Bailey Dale got shot down really well, and then had to throw him forward. Bevo's been Bevo lately.
Yeah.
So who knows what's going to happen? Like Dale got shut down a couple of weeks ago by who went to him? James Jordan.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, yeah.
I think James Jordan went to him, and the week before that, who went to him the week before that? No, he sat on the bench the last 15 minutes. That's right.
It's definitely that's a very good point. As to but that's the other thing. I don't know if they'll shake up the structure that much in such a big game. But it's almost. I feel like it's almost a necessity. Not a necessity, but I definitely I don't hate it.
They haven't got any gun small forwards though. Like they've got a Norton and Darcy, then you've got Vandermeer and Riley West sort of running. But you wouldn't say that he's not smaller. He's more of that medium hybrid. Yeah, he's 183 centimeters. He ain't small.
Yeah, but that's almost. I don't think you can play. I don't know who would play on him if not Max. Maybe Was.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that's the good thing about Max. He can play tall and small. I don't think Muzz or Keane or Butts can play. Butts definitely can't play small.
It just makes it hard with Darcy being there because he's just such that. He's so big. Like,
well, that's why I think Butts has been unreal the past few weeks, but it does. The thought of Sam Darcy lining up on Jordan Butts scares the shit out of me because Keane's not tall enough.
I'll go to you both. Would you rather? Who would you rather out of the three stand on Darcy and Norton?
Murray.
Just with this matchup alone.
On Darcy.
Yep.
Murray.
Yeah, it's got to be Murray, doesn't it?
I don't know.
Like if you're looking at it purely one-on-one and you're not taking into consideration the form of the last few weeks of our defence, it has to be Murray.
I don't think any of them are tall enough to go with him, realistically. Like, I think they're all rough. I think they're all 195, actually, and Darcy's almost 210. Like, they're going to have 15 centimetres to make up for regardless.
Yeah.
I think I want Muzz only because Darcy's clean below his feet as well, and Butts isn't. Butts is very good in the air, and he's proven that lately. But, and I don't think Keane is good enough one-on-one to go against. I think that's Muzz's best. He's probably our best one-on-one defender.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like you said. It's very hard to fit him in the team without maybe playing Max forward as that lockdown on Bailey Dale. It's a very interesting point because I didn't even think about that. I definitely don't hate that.
Yeah, it's going to be selection's going to be very interesting this week.
It's not going to shock me if Murray just doesn't come back in. To be fair, I will say that. Like,
yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. I don't know. It'll be a tough one. It's going to be very interesting to watch on Thursday night.
Why do you always name drop people now? He's going to be in our DMs again.
We could easily go with 4 changes. Easily.
I'm going to get called fat again. God damn.
You know, after a win like we've had, like to go in with 4 changes, I think is nuts. But it could happen. And I think for the first time all season, you can't sort of pinpoint who's going to go out besides Rash and probably Merv and who's going to come in. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's really hard. If Rash didn't get injured, then it's an easy like for like. Murph is out, but you get the feeling, and you want to keep a bit of continuity about the group as well. You don't want to just go making 4 or 5 changes. But yeah, I suppose we'll see how we go. Before we wrap up, who wins and how much? Dom, we'll start with you.
No worries at all, mate. Good to be back. Missed it.
Yep, not bad at all. And Dyl, how about you?
Go Crows.
Crows by 111. Max 6. I've got no idea. I'm not even going to bother because Crows by 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a hard one. I'm going to back us in. They've not given me a reason not to back them in so far, so I'm going to say Crows by 10 points as well. Go over there and ruin the Dogs' day. They're on a bit of a...
Oh, no, yeah, but that's a bit of Zay Burnell about you there. With his little pre-game things and his little...
Oh, jeez. Well, other than that, do you boys have anything else you wanted to talk about before we head off?
No, I reckon we covered it off pretty well.
Easy. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Of course, Proper Classics up on Thursday morning and a very good watch this week. The 2015 elimination final from the MCG. Texas' beautiful pass to Charlie Cameron late in the piece, probably one of the best kicks in club history. Our first interview, if you haven't listened yet, with Matt Samet, the Saxman, who did a great job yesterday right above us on the hill. Check that out on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Of course, our review of the Dogs game will be out Sunday afternoon next week, you'd say, maybe Monday morning. We'll see how we go. At Proper Crows Pod on all the socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Other than that, thank you very much for listening. Dyl, thanks for jumping on.
No worries, mate. Thanks for listening to a couple of meltdowns there. But no, it's good. We're tracking along nicely and hopefully get a win on Saturday and we can keep this good mood up.
Absolutely, mate. And thank you, Dom, for joining again. Good to have you back. Absolutely. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and go Crows.
Go Crow.
Ring the bell! Ring the bell! The bell in the city of churches! Stand up like Matthew Nicks and rule like you never have before!
Jarman again, round the body,